And straight ahead on Valley News Live at 10. Think your job is hard? Well, see how firefighters are adapting to the recent bitter cold. Plus, a South Fargo couple speaks out. You won't believe how many times they say their cars were broken into this year. And a North Dakota woman accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from her employer. Hear what police say she did with it all. It's Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Welcome to Valley News Live at 10. I'm Justin Betty. The frigid temperatures are impacting people all across the Red River Valley. And we'll get to your latest forecast in just a couple minutes. But first, one of the toughest jobs these days belongs to firefighters who have to battle fires and the freezing temperatures. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling shows us how they've adapted to the elements.
It's tough some days when you're out at a big structure fire and weather's like this.
The freezing cold is settling in the Fargo-Moorhead area, which poses a challenge to fire departments across the valley.
Anytime you deal with water and cold weather like this, you get a lot of things that are happening. You know, water around you, it's freezing up. You get it on your gear gets really wet, it gets stiff. The guys get cold, and you know how it is once you get chilled, it's hard to get warm up, and the guys are kind of in and out.
Firefighting in the cold has evolved over the years, from up-to-date fire hoses that prevent freezing to rotating crews in and out. The focus is to make it safer for those battling the flames.
Heated bus that we can take firefighters and rotate them in and out through rehab to try to help them warm up, get them some hot chocolate or some coffee and get them some nourishment so that we can cycle them back into the scene. So we constantly are rotating people in these frigid temperatures.
I asked Frost what was the coldest situation he has dealt with in his career. His response was bone chilling.
The water, it came back and I actually froze to the ground. It took 3 firefighters to shake me loose out of the ground because I was frozen. So yeah, that was probably the worst in my career.
In West Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
And that cold weather isn't going anywhere anytime soon. More first alert weather days on the way. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us now for your first look at the forecast. Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Happy Thursday, everybody. A cold one on tap for this evening, but really the next couple days will be flat out dangerously cold. A live look now, our Luther Family Ford Skycam shows still some of that fresh snowfall on the ground, still some slippery roadways out there. So if you are traveling tonight or even tomorrow morning, keep in mind those intersections, those side roads especially, could be on the slippery side. Here's those current temperatures as we speak, or rather jump right into the satellite and radar. Notice the clouds there in most of the region, seeing some clouds, but we are seeing some clear sky making its way in to our far western neighborhoods. And now that where we see some clear sky, of course, we do expect things to be the coldest once everything gets going. You can see where that clear sky is, those temperatures 8 below in Devils Lake, 4 below Jamestown, but 6 below right now, Grand Forks and Halleck, 2 below there in Fargo. So where the clouds are hanging on there out toward the far east, down toward the south, you still see some single digits above zero. Sisseton still at 11 degrees. But of course, you factor in that wind, 19 below that wind chill. Grand Forks, 14 below in Fargo. But take a look at that Minot, 35 below. So as that cold air, a bit of a breeze makes its way in, yeah, we do expect things to be dangerously cold here overnight tonight. And of course, a wind chill warning does continue until noon on Saturday. So as January 1st, as for most of us, could see wind chills as cold as 55 degrees below zero in those pink shaded areas. So Justin, really just want to make sure people stay safe and stay warm with this stretch of cold weather.
It's a prolonged stretch too.
And that's what makes it so dangerous, is that it just is such a long span of those Arctic temperatures.
All right, thank you, Nathan. 3 children are now in protective custody after a toddler was found outside in the cold in Fargo this week. Officers found that child yesterday morning on the 700 block of 23rd Street South. 2 other children were found in a nearby apartment. Now, it's unknown how long the toddler was outside before they were discovered, but police say the case has now been forwarded to the Cass County State Attorney's Office for consideration of charges. City officials are urging you to shovel your sidewalks, saying if you don't, you could be slapped with a fine. Officials say any snow that ends up on your property, whether that's from Mother Nature herself or from a city plow, is your responsibility to clean up within 24 hours in Fargo, 48 hours in West Fargo.
We don't want the public having to trudge through deep snow, kids waiting at bus stops, elderly. We really want to clear that up so it's easier for them to get through it.
Well, both Fargo and West Fargo say they don't actively go looking for violations, but they say if there's a sidewalk in your neighborhood that's either untouched or unsafe, you can report it and someone will come check it out. 27 vehicles were impounded overnight in Fargo, and the city issued a notice tonight. They'll be plowing east-west avenues. The city will begin impounding those vehicles parked on streets, or in this case, avenues, starting at 2 a.m. You can find the details on our website, valleynewslive.com, when you click on this complete story. Broadway Square has announced their New Year's Eve event is canceled because of the extreme cold. In a post on social media, they say Shields skating rink and skate shack hours have also been impacted by the weather. Rescue crews had to save a woman from a cave behind a frozen waterfall in Minnesota. Check it out. She had slipped. She hurt her ankle in Minnehaha Falls. Rescuers used ropes and harnesses to reach her and a basket to haul her up to safety. A person with her was not hurt. For years, the Minneapolis Park Board has warned about the dangers of trespassing there. A judge has sided with law enforcement in a case brought by Dakota Access Pipeline protesters that allege excessive use of force by police back in 2016. Officers fired rubber bullets and tear gas into a crowd to disperse protesters. They also sprayed them with water on a night when temperatures slipped below freezing. Officers said they were outnumbered. They feared for their safety. Yesterday, a district judge agreed, dismissing the claims. 2 people are in jail following a fentanyl and meth bust in Red Lake, Minnesota. Police say they raided that home yesterday and found a half pound of fentanyl, 2 ounces of meth, along with cash. Officers said they arrested 2 women on drug charges, though their names have not been released. Fentanyl is linked to several deadly overdoses on the reservation. A Devil's Lake woman's being charged with theft after police say she stole about $350,000 from her employer and then gambled it away. Investigators say Nancy Lee Weaver took that money from her employer, the eye care clinic Crine and Moen. Court documents state Weaver took the money between 2014 and 2020 when she was the office manager there. Investigators allege she took more than $411,000 and used it to gamble at the Spirit Lake Casino, losing more than $325,000 of it. A South Fargo couple is speaking out tonight after their cars were broken into for the 5th time this year. Valley News Team's Alex Larson spoke with them today about what's going on.
It's just not a safe place to live anymore. I think that's starting to become all of Fargo, unfortunately.
That's how Tyler Long feels after he says his cars that he shares with his girlfriend Kaylana Bell have been broken into repeatedly over the last months, each time in their apartment parking lot. The first time it happened was in March.
We had planned to go to the DMV the next day, so of course we accidentally kind of not really thinking about it, left the title in the vehicle.
They stole the title out of the vehicle, multiple other things.
And the very next day,
we had come out and the plates were stolen off of it as well.
Long says one time he forgot to bring a gun inside, and when he went back in the morning, it was gone.
I feel bad because now there's a gun out on the street somewhere that could be involved in a crime.
During the most recent break-in, they broke a window.
We didn't notice anything taken, but now obviously we have to repair a window.
The 2 say there aren't cameras in the parking lot. They've asked their apartment managers to install some because it's been happening to their neighbors too. But even that is not a guaranteed fix.
Cameras, they don't deter crime, and a lot of times they only catch the guy who's doing it if someone recognizes them. So they're not 100%, sure to work, but it would still be nice to know that they're doing something about it.
They filed police reports, but say they were told there's not much police can do. Fargo PD says locking your car is the most effective way to prevent theft. Bell has another idea.
There are so many people who've been affected. I think it would be really nice if we could all kind of band together, not necessarily form a watch team or something, neighborhood watch, but something like that just to all let each other know what's going on.
Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Fargo PD says it responded to 120 car break-in calls in September of this year alone, so it's pretty common. Still to come on Valley News Live at 10, we'll show you how the recent rise in COVID-19 cases is starting to impact some New Year's Eve plans.
And we're expecting temperatures sub-zero all night long for us in Fargo. Notice the northwest wind around 10 miles per hour means, yes, wind chills will be dangerous for us in Fargo overnight. Grand Forks even colder, double digits below zero for the overnight hours, down to nearly -20 by the 8 a.m. hour. And that's, of course, why we've got that first alert weather day tonight and through Sunday morning. We'll break down your forecast next.